Hello and welcome to our comprehensive guide to ceiling design. A well-designed ceiling can add a touch of elegance and sophistication to any room, but it can be challenging to know where to start. In this video, we will take you through over 30 tips to help you design the perfect ceiling for your space. Tip 1. Consider the height of the ceiling. Before you start designing your ceiling, it's important to consider the height of the ceiling. A low ceiling will require a different approach than a high ceiling, and you'll need to adjust your design accordingly. Tip 2. Use lighting to create the illusion of height. If you have a low ceiling, you can use lighting to create the illusion of height. Use recessed lighting or a pendant light that hangs down to draw the eye upwards. Tip 3. Keep it simple. If you're working with a low ceiling, keep your design simple. Avoid ornate details or heavy textures, which can make the ceiling feel even lower. Tip 4. Use color to create depth. You can use color to create the illusion of depth on a low ceiling. Paint the ceiling a darker color than the walls, or use a textured wallpaper to create interest. Tip 5. Use crown molding to add elegance. Crown molding is a classic way to add elegance and sophistication to any ceiling. It's especially effective in rooms with high ceilings, where it can create a grand, luxurious look. Tip 6. Use a coffered ceiling to add interest. A coffered ceiling is a great way to add interest and texture to a room. It involves creating a grid of recessed panels on the ceiling, which can be painted or finished in a variety of materials. Tip 7. Use wood paneling for warmth. Wood paneling is a great way to add warmth and texture to a room. It's especially effective in spaces with high ceilings, where it can create a cozy, intimate atmosphere. Tip 8. Use wallpaper for a unique look. Wallpaper is a great way to add a unique touch to your ceiling. Choose a bold, patterned wallpaper to create a statement ceiling, or a subtle, textured wallpaper for a more understated look. Tip 9. Consider the style of the room. When designing your ceiling, it's important to consider the style of the room. A traditional room will require a different approach than a modern, minimalist space. Tip 10. Don't be afraid to mix styles. While it's important to consider the style of the room, don't be afraid to mix styles. A modern chandelier can look stunning in a traditional room, or a rustic wood ceiling can add charm to a modern space. Tip 11. Use color to tie the room together. You can use the ceiling to tie the room together by repeating a color from the walls or furnishings. This can create a cohesive look and make the room feel more pulled together. Tip 12. Consider the function of the room. When designing your ceiling, it's important to consider the function of the room. A home office will require a different approach than a bedroom or living room. Tip 13. Use acoustic panels for a home theater. If you're designing a home theater, consider using acoustic panels on the ceiling to improve sound quality. These panels can absorb sound and reduce echoes, creating a more immersive viewing experience. Tip 14. Use recessed lighting for a kitchen. Recessed lighting is a great option for a kitchen ceiling, as it provides even, overhead lighting without taking up space. You can also use pendant lights over the island or sink for task lighting. Tip 15. Use a skylight for natural light. If you have a room with a flat ceiling, consider adding a skylight. Tip 16. Use exposed beams for a rustic look. Exposed beams are a great way to add a rustic, farmhouse feel to a room. They can be left natural or painted for a more polished look. Tip 17. Use a drop ceiling for a modern look. A drop ceiling is a great option for a modern space. It involves suspending a grid of tiles or panels below the actual ceiling, which can be finished in a variety of materials. Tip 18. Consider the shape of the room. When designing your ceiling, consider the shape of the room. A rectangular room will require a different approach than a round or oval room. Tip 19. Use a tray ceiling for depth. A tray ceiling involves creating a recessed area in the center of the ceiling, which can be painted or finished in a different material. This can add depth and interest to a room. Tip 20. Use metallic finishes for a glamorous look. Metallic finishes, such as gold or silver leaf, can add a touch of glamour and luxury to any ceiling. They work especially well in bedrooms and dressing rooms. Tip 21. Use a mural or artwork for a statement ceiling. If you want to make a bold statement, consider adding a mural or piece of artwork to your ceiling. This can create a stunning focal point in any room. Tip 22. Use stencils for a unique pattern. Stenciling is a great way to add a unique pattern or design to your ceiling. You can use a variety of stencils and paint colors to create a look that's all your own. Tip 23. Consider the ceiling height in relation to furniture. When designing your ceiling, consider the height in relation to your furniture. A low ceiling can make tall furniture feel cramped, while a high ceiling can make small furniture look insignificant. Tip 24. Use decorative medallions for a classic look. Decorative medallions are a classic way to add elegance to any ceiling. They can be used around chandeliers or ceiling fans, or as standalone decorative elements. Tip 25. Use a suspended ceiling for a unique look. A suspended ceiling involves hanging individual tiles or panels from the ceiling, creating a unique and eye-catching look. It's a great option for a modern or industrial space. Tip 26. Use a painted pattern for a bold statement. If you want to make a bold statement, consider using a painted pattern on your ceiling. This can be a great option for a nursery or playroom. Tip 27. Use wallpaper on a sloped ceiling. If you have a sloped ceiling, consider using wallpaper to add interest and texture. This can be a great option for an attic or loft space. Tip 28. Use a vaulted ceiling for a grand look. A vaulted ceiling is a great way to create a grand, impressive look in any room. It involves creating a high, arched ceiling that can add height and drama. Tip 29. Use a wood ceiling for a natural look. A wood ceiling is a great way to add a natural, organic feel to a room. You can use a variety of wood finishes and stains to create the look you want. Tip 30. Use a painted border for a subtle detail. If you want to add a subtle detail to your ceiling, consider painting a border around the edge. This can be a great option for a dining room or formal space. Thank you for watching this video on ceiling design and tips. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this.